welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzie. We have a great show for you today. The first topic we'll be covering is the Yankees and the news surrounding them with their injuries, including Gerrit, Cole, and Aaron Judge, two superstars. Next, we are recapping some AL and NL spring training games. I wanted to split it into two segments, so we have enough time to talk about everything. And finally, we'll be talking about, of course, some news around the league. A lot of notable stuff that was more minor and that I couldn't really talk about for a full segment, but still wanted to give my thoughts on. So, before we get into that, I would like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers. To ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net that you see on the screen. It really does help me. It really does help a lot. It really does help everyone. So, just make sure to do that, and let's get on to our show today. So, we're going to go into our first segment, and the first thing I'm going to be talking about is, I think, what a lot of people would expect, and I previewed it before, of course, and that is the New York Yankees, everyone's favorite team. Everyone loves the Yankees, of course, and what's going on with them. So, let's get straight into it. So, a few days ago, it was announced by Aaron Boone that Gerrit Cole was getting an MRI on his pitching elbow, which is never a good sign. Never can be a good sign whatsoever. It then came out that the reason for this was that he was not recovering well enough between starts, and an example was put from Cole himself saying after pitching the spring training games, his recovery felt like what it would feel like if he threw 100 pitches in a regular season game, which obviously is not ideal if you're a Yankees fan or you're Gerrit Cole, because in spring training, it's a practice run. You're throwing around 40 to 50 pitches, something like that. So anywhere from 1 to 3 innings, maybe 4 if you get really lucky, if they want to really spread you out. But other than that, you're not throwing that many pitches. It's not really a high-pressure environment. And the fact that he was feeling like this, feeling like he threw 100 pitches that day, when in reality it was a low-cost spring training game where there's not much, not much stuff going on, not a lot of expectations put on you. That is cause for concern, and the Yankees did the right thing. They sent him to get an MRI, and they're hoping for the best right now. We don't really know what's going to happen with that. All the reports that have come out have frankly not been good. No real way to sugarcoat that. Andy Martino said, kind of in a nice way that they're not expecting it to be good. Brian Hoke as well. Two guys who are known for for very reliable Yankees reports. So, if I'm a Yankees fan, I think you definitely have the right to be worried, 100%. This is not good news whatsoever. It could turn out to be fine. It definitely could. It could turn out to be just a minor thing. He misses a few starts, but, Boone's already come out and said that, he doesn't expect Gerrit Cole to be ready by opening day, which is not a good sign. Lance McCullers said they wouldn't have mentioned that he was getting an MRI if they didn't know something was wrong. So it's not looking good if you're a Gerrit Cole or a Yankees fan or the Yankees team in general. It's not good news the way you want to start off your spring. Everything was going so well for you guys. Soto was hitting the ball like Juan Soto. Everyone was performing well. And to just get this, it's really just kind of just a horrible break for you guys. Finally, everything was looking up in a season after some down seasons where you really haven't been the big bad New York Yankees that everyone knows of. So it really is something that's bad. Baseball simply is better when the Yankees are good. So I'm not happy about this either. I love watching Gerrit Cole. I think he's probably the best pitcher in baseball. So I can't describe how much of a big blow this is to the Yankees. Now again, it could be nothing. I mean, there's still a chance that happens. I doubt it. I do think this is going to be something with everything we've heard, but it could be something minor. He could miss a month or something like that, like Kodai saying with the Mets. That's still not good, but in what you're expecting right now, that would probably be pretty great. It would probably be in 90-degree weather in December. I mean, if we're trying to put an example here, that was a weird example, but, just something, really good, something you're not expecting. So, I can't overstate how big of a blow this would be to the Yankees if he is seriously injured, or if he, for some reason, knock on wood if you're a Yankees fan, but he's out for the season or is out for a significant amount of time, has to get Tommy John, something like that. I've talked about it a few times on the show, but there are a lot of question marks with the Yankees rotation already. And Gerrit Cole was kind of everything that held it together, because you go past Cole and there's a lot of question marks. You have Carlos Rodon, who's dealing with injury risk always and has not performed well. Marcus Stroman, injury risk and didn't perform well in the second half. Nestor Cortez, injury risk as well. Clark Schmidt, younger guy, you don't know what you have with him. Same with Will Warren, same with Clayton Beater. Luke Weaver is fine, but he's more of a depth guy who can't really slot into a full-time rotation spot if you wanted him to, with high success. So there was a lot of question marks about the Yankees rotation, which is why a lot of people are not too high in them. I personally am, but Cole was he held everything together, really. You can say a lot about Gerrit Cole. You could talk about how he's the best pitcher in baseball, which I would probably agree with. You talk about how he's a bona fide ace, a guy that lived up to his contract in New York, everything you want from an ace, a face of the franchise. And another thing you want to mention with Gerrit Cole is how durable he is. Aside from being a guy every single opponent hitter fears, a guy that everyone respects, and a guy that everyone, when he goes in the mound, you say, oh no, I got to face him today. He's durable. He never missed a start. He hasn't missed a significant amount of starts in a long time in his career. And he's lived up to the Yankees contract, a lot of it because he's been healthy. You can pitch great all you want, but if you're pitching great and you're not on the field, it doesn't really matter. I think we saw that with Jacob deGrom, which is why inevitably he ended up leaving the Mets. And then he got Tommy John a few months later with the Rangers, and I think it proved the Mets right. So you could say a lot of things about Gerrit Cole, but he's always durable, and he really does not get injured that much. So the fact that this is happening right now is very worrisome and cannot be overstated for how big of a blow it would be for the Yankees if he is seriously injured. Another thing you have to look at is if this injury is serious, like a Tommy John, for example. Again, absolute worst case scenario, but you have to look at the worst case scenarios right now in what's happening with Cole. Is he ever going to be the same again? I think that's something you have to think about. You look at Jacob deGrom. People forget, but he was one of the more durable pitchers in baseball before around 2020. 2018, 2019, easy Cy Young. Because he stayed healthy, not just because of how amazing he was, because of how historic his seasons were, but because he was healthy along with that. So if, again, the worst possible scenario happens here where Cole is out for the season or gets Tommy John or something even worse, I don't know what would be worse than Tommy John for a pitcher, but you get the idea. Is he ever going to be the same again? And with the amount of years he has left in his contract, I'm not sure. I think that's a conversation worth having if it does end up being the worst case scenario. But other than that, just for this year, again, such a huge loss if he is out for the year. You had so much promise for this year because of Soto, a lot of new additions, because of the guys in the rotation, who already had a lot of injury risk. You're getting Cole, you solidify that. You had so much hope for the season. Even with those guys being question marks, because you have this ace, it would just be such a huge blow, such a huge loss to this team, to this fan base. So you really hope that he is okay. And at this point, we know something is wrong. So you just have to hope it's best case scenario, which is maybe out for a few weeks or so, or just rehabbing a little bit. Maybe something like, again, an example of Kodai Senga with the Mets. So that's really what you have to hope for right now if you're a Yankees fan. Also, when looking at this, you have to think, does Cole getting injured, or potentially being out for a long, long time, a significant amount of time, does that push them to get a guy like Blake Snell, like Jordan Montgomery, even Dylan Cease? Starting off with Snell and Montgomery, I don't think it does personally. Do I think they should go after one of them? Absolutely. I think Jordan Montgomery makes a lot of sense for the Yankees. If you're putting personal stuff aside with him because you traded him, he wasn't very happy with how the trade went down. He makes perfect sense for you guys. To me, he's a perfect number 2 or 3 in that Yankees rotation. With the question marks you have, I feel like he solidifies a lot of that. He has experience in the Bronx. He knows how to play there. So I think he would be a great fit there, and I think they should look at him even if Cole is injured or not. I thought they should have before. And now, especially with Cole being hurt, I think they should. I don't think they will, just because simply of the money problem, just because of where you are on the luxury tax. So you really can't. That's the only problem. So I wouldn't expect the Yankees. But also now, another one that's been mentioned with them in their pitching talks is Dylan Cease. It came out today from Bob Nightingale. You take everything Nightingale says with a grain of salt, but he is usually right with White Sox stuff, so we'll give him that the Yankees made a new offer to the White Sox for Dylan Cease. It is not believed to include prize prospect Spencer Jones, which is who the White Sox really covet, so I don't think it'll get done. But, Andy Martino said it himself that, the Yankees believe, people in the league believe the Yankees are very behind other teams in their offers for Dylan Cease. So, Because we could, Dylan Cease market may be moving again for some reason, so we may see him get dealt. I still think he gets dealt at the deadline at this point, but anything could surprise me right now. So I think you have to look at that. I think Cease makes a lot of sense still for the Yankees. I agree with them in not giving up Spencer Jones. I've talked about him before. I think he's an absolute stud, amazing player. So I agree with them in that case, but you have to get some kind of pitcher, I think, if Cole is injured, if you want to win this year, especially because you have a lot more on your shoulders because of Soto being a free agent next year and wasting your potential 1 year with him. You know, you have teams like the Mets, like the Cubs, other teams as well, who are going to really go after Soto hard in the offseason, I believe, and you can't waste that 1 year. So, again, huge loss if you were to lose Cole, and I really can't overstate how bad it would be. And to add insult to injury now, Aaron Judge is also getting an MRI. He's getting an MRI for his abs. He said the goal is to play opening day, and that's a very unique choice of words right there, because he's not saying, I'm going to play opening day 100%, nothing to worry about if you're a Yankees fan. He's not saying his goal is to play opening day. And if I was a Yankees fan, I'd be pretty worried about that. He's not saying, again, 100% I'm playing, nothing to worry about. He's saying, in coded language, there's something here, but it's not that big of a deal, but it's still there, and you still should worry about it. And because of Aaron Judge and who he is, you have to be worried, because he missed most of last year with an injury. Again, that injury wasn't his fault. It was a freak baseball play, but it still exists. He has an injury past. You know, he's frankly a very big guy. He's a very athletic guy, and I think there was a lot of question marks about him with this long-term contract. Could his body potentially break down? Like, for example, like his teammate, Giancarlo Stanton, whose body has definitely broken down over the course of his contract. I don't think that was a big concern, but it was something you had to look at because of who Aaron Judge is, because of the contract he got, and because of his past. So I think that's definitely a question mark. And, you know, if Judge would be out for an extended amount of time, let's say, you know, he isn't saying it right now. Obviously, it's just the abs, so it's not a big deal, but that affects your lineup in so many ways. I mean, you were banking on Soto and Judge, probably one of the greatest 2-3 punches in baseball history. I mean, you've got Soto, who's easily a top 3 hitter in the game, Judge, who's top 3 hitter as well, most likely. You know, and also both are definitely top 10 players in this game. I mean, that's just an incredible 2-3, and losing one of those guys would be an absolute blow. So, again, I can't say enough about how bad it would be to lose Judge, and again, losing Cole. So losing Cole to me is just more significant because he is a pitcher and because of the worries you have on pitching staff. Again, Judge is probably the better player, but it's also pretty close, and because Cole is a pitcher and because of the question marks you have in your rotation, I think he would be a guy who losing him would be a huge negative. Of course, both these guys are, but for Cole more for me personally. So yeah, not great start to the Yankees fans season. Vibes were so great going in. You know, it was reported. We've seen how well Soto's been doing. Everyone's kind of been really happy in camp. Everyone's been doing well after the embarrassment that was last season. The Yankees are trying to get back to that, big bad Yankees moniker, the Bronx Bombers, especially adding Soto. I mean, one of the better hitters in baseball, a guy I absolutely love. So not great. Not a great start for the Yankees in their quest for this year, in their quest to get out of the gutter a little bit. But again, these injuries might just be temporary. So if you're a Yankees fan, that's all you can hope for. That Cole isn't seriously injured. That Judge isn't. Seems to be more of a injury risk right now on Cole. You should be more worried about Cole if I was you guys. I think Judge is probably going to miss a few days in the start of the season. That should be fine. But this specific injury, again, Judge can always get injured for something else just because he is who he is, because of his past and because of what his body is. So, but for this specific injury, I wouldn't be that worried. But if I'm a Yankees fan, simply I would be worried about Gerrit Cole. I don't know how you wouldn't be. So, yeah, definitely something to watch out for here. So, that is my first segment, talking about the Yankees and their injuries. We're going to move on to our second segment here today, which is going to be about spring training recap, specifically AL games. I wanted to split into AL and NL because of just to give myself enough time to talk about it because of the limited time we have here today, because it is only an hour. So we'll be talking about that all throughout Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I didn't stream on Monday or put out any content except some shorts. I'm sorry about that. Obviously, I told it on the podcast on Friday, but I was not able to live stream. But I did plan on getting out recordings for you guys and posting it on YouTube and audio platforms. But unfortunately, I had some problems with my flight coming back home, so I wasn't able to. I got home very late, so I do apologize about that. But everything's good now. I'll be doing this for a long time. No real breaks for a long, long time. So excited to get more content out for you guys. And sorry about that little going into a tangent here about what's happening, but want to keep people updated. So we're going to go into our first break after that. So see you in segment 2 after that. Thanks.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit. A stupid myth, you choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right, we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our second segment. Before we do that, I would like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. Leave a comment if you can. Say what's up. Talk to me in chat as well. Tell us that you're loving the content. GSMCpodcast.net if you do want to donate. Helps me, helps everyone here. Helps a lot. Get your question read on the air definitely as well. So thank you so much for that. It is always appreciated. And let's get back into our second segment here today, which is going to be about AL spring training games, what happened with those over the weekend and yesterday as well, because I was not recording. So just talking about the games in the AL for spring training. For interleague games, I will be talking about those as if they are AL, just for quick if you are confused about that. So let's get straight into it. The first game we'll be talking about is Washington and Houston. The Astros beat the Nationals 9-4. Jose Altuve and Kyle Tucker both homered in the bottom of the first and made it 4-0 there quickly. So good job by the Astros dynamic to get off to a nice start. Juan Yepez hit a RBI single. Good start for him in the camp. Yainer Diaz had an RBI single. John Singleton RBI single. Yordan Alvarez hit a home run. Jeremy Pena tripled to score a run. After that, Riley Adams for the Nationals hit a home run. Good job for him. Kind of a light-hitting guy, so good for him. Andrew Pickney for the Nationals, hit an RBI single, and Pedro Leon singled for an RBI as well, getting the Astros the win 9-4. Good job by the Astros, getting their big guys swinging already. They've done really well to start camp, so good job for them. And going ahead for the season, it's a good job for their performing. Next, we have Pirates Tigers. To start off the game in the top of the first, Jake Lamb homer for the Pirates, his first one of the spring. So a nice job by the veteran to get it going. Gio Urshela hit an RBI single, as did Carson Kelly in the bottom of the first. So nice job by Urshela to start off his Pirates tenure. He's hoping for a good season there, bounce back, maybe get a big contract in the offseason. Top of the third here for the Pirates, Cannon Smith-Njigba, the best athlete in that family. He homered for his third homer of the spring, as well as did Henry Davis. So nice job by the Pirates young guys to show out and show what they're made of a little bit. Zach McKinstry hit an RBI single, and Keston Hiura homered for the Tigers. So 6-4 Tigers there. Good job by the Tigers. The young players performing, guys like Kira and McKinstry are fighting for roster spots, so good for them. TJ Hopkins also with an RBI single for them. Andrew Navigado homered, first one of the spring, and Abraham Gutierrez in the ninth homered for the Pirates to make it 8-5. Pirates, and that was what the score ended up being for the Pirates. So good job to them. All right, keep going here. For Toronto and Philadelphia, this is all Saturday, by the way. This is going to be a long segment, just telling you guys now. So, settle in. It could be a long show today. It's okay. For the Blue Jays and Phillies, a huge game, 13-5 for the Blue Jays. Ricky Tiedemann gave his spring debut. He was great. Blue Jays, Kevin Kiermaier hit an RBI single. Nick Castellanos homered. Vladimir Guerrero hit a 2 RBI single. George Springer again homered. Didn't mean again, sorry. I don't know why I said that. He only homered once. It's not. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Edmundo Sosa hit a grand slam for the Phillies. Sorry if the light's going in and out. Natural light isn't. It's going in and out right now, so I apologize for watching on stream. But Edmundo Sosa hit a grand slam for the Phillies, making it 5-5. Eduardo Escobar hit his first double as a Blue Jay, making it 7-5 Toronto. Peyton Henry homered for the Blue Jays, making it 9-5. And Will Robertson in the ninth hit a grand slam, scoring 4, of course. That is a grand slam, making it 13-5, blowing out the Phillies. So, good job by the Phillies here. By the Blue Jays to blow out the Phillies. Nice job for them. And nice start. So, definitely a good job. We have Baltimore-Atlanta now. 10-3 Baltimore they won. Just keep going with that great spring they're having. Colby Mayo hit a double. Kyle Stowers singled. Ozzie Albies doubled for the Blue Jays. Travis d'Arnaud hit into a double play and then scored a run as well. Ramon Urias hit a RBI single. Colby Mayo homered. Atlanta then made it 6-3. Baltimore then hit an RBI double, 8-3. Then scored some other guys as well. Had 2 RBIs, making it 10-3 Baltimore, overtaking Atlanta. So a good game by them, and a nice job. Next we have New York, Minnesota. Kind of a rivalry as they play in the playoffs a lot, but New York usually beats them. So a little bit, I guess. So 10-7 Twins. A lot of big scoring spring training games. Didn't really realize that. But yes, you had Austin Wells, who's going to slot in for the Yankees, starting catcher this season. He hit his second homer of the spring, making it 2-0. Byron Buxton hit his first homer of the spring, making it 2-1. He then tripled, made it 4-2 Minnesota. His teammate, of course his teammate. What's wrong with me? Sorry. Correa then hit 2 RBI singles in the second and the fourth, making it 6-2 Minnesota. New addition Carlos Santana made it 7-2 with a single. Then it became 8-2 from Maddox Halton on a sacrifice fly. Josh Van Meter hit homered for the Yankees. So did Christopher Familia, walked, and Everson Pereira singled for an RBI. And in the end, for the bottom of the eighth, Chris Williams with the Twins made it 10-7, and that was what the score ended up being. So a nice game by the Twins to have a nice win against the Yankees, and good job by them. We have Angels Guardians here, 5-4 Angels. Jake Marisnick hit an RBI single in the top of the second to make it 1-0. He then homered in the top of the fourth to make it 3-0. So continuing a nice spring for himself, fighting for a starting job in that depleted Angels lineup. Nolan Schanuel, he homered on a fly ball and made it 4-0 Angels. Ari Adrianza hit an RBI single, making it 5-0, looking like a blowout. But Cleveland started to get something going at the bottom of the eighth. Milan Toliento walked for an RBI. Cal Manzardo, my guy, he doubled, making it 5-2. Raniel Delgado had a sacrifice fly, making it 5-3. And Alex Ferry Planez, sorry, I've never seen this guy before. Wow, RBI, I don't know how to pronounce that name, I'm sorry. Alex, then F-R-I, I guess Alex Fieri, and then Planez. So he doubled, and I do apologize about that name. So it was 5-4 LA. Cleveland couldn't do anything else to get that. So I just had to settle with that, and didn't go from there. Next we have Arizona, Kansas City. Kansas City beat Arizona 6-5. Sorry. Salvador Perez homered. Vinny Pasquantino homered in the bottom of the first to make it 2-0. Tucker Barnhart hit a single. So did Alex Thomas, making it 3-2 Arizona. Freddie Fermin hit an RBI single, making it 4-3 Kansas City. Kevin Newman homered to make it 4-4, tie the game up. Bobby Witt Jr. then homered, and Freddie Fermin hit a double to make it 6-4 Kansas City. Albert Almora homered for the Diamondbacks, but that was no use as the Royals ended up winning that game 6-5 against the defending NL champions. So good job. Good job there. Next, we're going to be talking about, we're going to skip some of the AL games actually. We'll probably talk about it next segment. I didn't realize how long this actually takes. That is my fault. Wow. Okay. There's a lot of games, man. Sorry. Next we have Oakland, San Francisco. Now I'm just talking about here. San Francisco beat Oakland 5-1. I do apologize for the light. I don't know why this is happening. Usually the light in here is fine. If you're watching on stream, I do apologize. I don't know what is going on with that. It keeps moving around. That's New York for you, I guess, with the weather. Then we had Texas, LA. Again, not much there as well. 7-1 Dodgers. Good job for them. Mookie Betts as well, playing game at shortstop there. He had a nice game. So, good job for him. Michael Grove got the win as well for them. So, good job there. Cincinnati, Arizona. That's not for this one. Oops. Chicago and San Diego, 1-1. Again, I hate ties. Ties, in my opinion, are useless in spring training. I understand in spring training, but still, I don't understand them. So, not fun in my opinion. You then had Seattle, Milwaukee. Seattle ended up beating Milwaukee 7-5. Luis Castillo pitched a nice game. Freddie Peralta not off to a great spring so far. 12.71 ERA. Not great for him. Milwaukee, Oakland was then next. Milwaukee played again. They lost again. J.P. Sears had a nice outing for Oakland, continuing his nice spring for them. Good job for the A's to win that game after losing to San Francisco. You had Boston, Tampa. Cutter Crawford got the win for Boston, shutting out Tampa Bay 4-0. Good job for Boston. Good job for Cutter Crawford to have a nice spring there. And, continuing with that. So that was a good job for him. Going on to Sunday now, there were 17 games. You had Detroit, New York. Obviously, the Mets, not the Yankees. You had Detroit. So Detroit ended up beating the Mets 3-2. Mark Vientos hit a nice home run in that game, continuing stake for the Met DH spot. Shinichiro Fujinami came in and did not have a great outing for the Mets, which was unfortunate. He's had a nice spring so far, but just didn't put it all together there. So a nice win by the Tigers to defeat the Mets. You had Houston, Miami. Miami shut out the Astros 3-0. Ryan Weathers had a really good outing for Miami. So that's good for Miami, who is, losing some guys in the pitching staff, especially with the Sandy Alcantara injury. You want guys like him to fill in the spots, especially one with AJ Puck, who's going from a reliever to a starter in that rotation. So good job there. You also had another Tampa-Boston game. Boston ended up beating them in a nice game, 7-6. Uwasawa, who was the Rays signing over from Japan, didn't pitch well, but still figuring it out, so I wouldn't be too shocked. I wouldn't be too mad if I was you guys. Another tie here for the Orioles and Blue Jays. 6-6. You had Adley Rutschman, Colton Cowser, and James McCann all homering. For the Blue Jays, you had Ernie Clement and Ryan Serven. So a lot of home run power in that game, and nice for the rivals there. You had Nationals Twins. Nationals ended up beating the Twins 7-3 with a nice game by Johan Adon, who is fighting for a spot in that Nationals pitching staff. You then had Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, the Battle of Pennsylvania, which we'll talk about next segment. Yankees Braves. Yankees ended up winning that game 9-8 after Victor Gonzalez didn't have a bad outing, got the win for them. And nice win for the Yankees, beating a team like the Braves. Baltimore Toronto, another game for them. Ended up winning 11-6 for the Orioles. Wow, great win for the Orioles, continuing their spring training domination. It's not a huge deal, but again, you always want to be good for these kind of games and these kind of expedition things. So, yeah, definitely always a positive. Since Cleveland, Cincinnati ended up winning 6-3 after a nice outing by Nick Lodolo, who has an ERA of 0 for spring training. Xavier Curry wasn't great for the Guardians, but still has a nice future there, I'd say. Still one of the best names in baseball as well, so looking forward to watching him progress more in the future. You had Kansas City, Oakland, who, Oakland ended up winning that game 6-3. Solid outing by Paul Blackburn against the Royals, continuing his nice career for Oakland, trying to be a trade chip at the deadline, I'd say. You then had Chicago beating the reigning champion Texas Rangers. Drew Smyly hasn't had a nice camp so far, but got the win for them, which was pretty nice. You then had San Francisco, Chicago, White Sox. San Francisco ended up beating them 5-4, so a good win there. Angels, Padres, a battle of California in a way. You had the Angels winning that game 5-4. Carlos Estevez got his first save of the spring, which is a nice start for the Angels. Seattle ended up beating San Francisco 8-3. So another good win by Seattle. Keeping their spring training hopes high for the season, even though it hasn't been great. And that's it for the AL spring training games for over the weekend. Today we got a lot of games going on as well. Just specifically for the AL, Red Sox, Cardinals are in the bottom of the ninth. Red Sox hoping they can walk it off here. Men on first and third with 2 outs. We'll see if they do next segment. That game's going on right now. So is Houston, Miami, which just ended. Actually, Houston ended up beating Miami 9-1. Those are the games over the weekend. Sorry, it was a little cluttered. I didn't realize that I would have that little of time, so I do apologize for that. Again, the lighting is strange. I'm going to try to fix that over the break I'm going to have. So, we're gonna go to our segment 3 now, though, after the end of segment 2, of course, which is going to be about the same thing I just talked about, but NL. So we're going to be recapping some NL spring training games and what happened there. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you after that. So thanks. Enjoy the break.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right, we are back here. Hopefully that fixes the lighting problems a bit. The room still is a bit dark, so I will try to fix that for next time, but usually it is pretty nice in here. The lighting is fine, so I do apologize for that. I didn't expect that. So, we're going to go into our third segment here, which we did talk about a little bit before, which is the NL Spring Training Games. And what happened there overall. So, let's get straight into it. For the Mets and the Cardinals, which is the first game we're going to talk about, we had a 9-3 final score for the Mets. Sean Manaea put in a really nice outing for his new team in spring training. I don't know what's going on with this lighting. I do apologize, guys. If you're listening on audio, you don't know what's going on. But check in on GSMC Sports Network for the YouTube channel if you do want to see what's going on with my lighting right now. But nice outing for Sean Manaea against the Cardinals for his new team, the Mets. He's put together a really nice spring, and I'm excited to watch him. Excited to see what that new sweeper can do for the Mets, and how he puts together this season. So definitely looking forward to that. It was 9-3. Steven Matz had a loss against his former team as well. Francisco Lindor had his first homer of the spring. So nice start for him, and a nice job to get it going. Thomas Sagasi, also one of the top Cardinals prospects, had a nice hit as well, a nice homer. So good job for him. He was acquired in the Jordan Montgomery trade. So nice job for him to get his spring training going in a nice way. After that, we have Colorado, Chicago. Chicago shut out the Rockies 5-0. So not great for Chris Bryant against his former team. Cody Bellinger hit a ground rule double to keep going his spring for the Cubs after being re-signed. Dom Smith hit a single to score an RBI, and Patrick Wisdom hit an RBI single as well to make it 5-0 Cubs, which ended up being the final score for them. So putting together a nice spring for themselves. Hoping it can translate to the regular season, of course. After that, we have Cincinnati, Arizona, which was 5-2 Arizona against Cincinnati. For scoring, we had Jake Fraley. He struck out swinging, but TJ Friedl actually stole home while that was happening. So you don't really see someone stealing home at all much in baseball right now, but especially not in the first inning, and especially not in spring training. So that was pretty exciting. Christian Walker and Ketel Marte doubled, both of them to make it 3-1 Arizona. Tony Kemp, the new addition for the Reds, hit a single to make it 3-2. Nick Martini then hit a 2-run homer for the Reds to make it 4-3 Cincinnati to take the lead. Jake Hurley hit an inside the park home run for the Diamondbacks. I mean, this game was just insane for spring training standards. I don't know what the hell is going on. And after that, we had Jordan Lawler hitting a double for the Diamondbacks, trying to make a nice spring for himself, the youngster. And that was what happened for the Diamondbacks. And after that, the Reds added on 3 more, and in the end won the game with a Hector Rodriguez double to make it 5-5. And then a Jack Rogers RBI single to make it 7-5 Cincinnati. So nice job for the Reds to keep going with their nice spring. The young talents moving, beating a really good team, the Diamondbacks, who were the NL champions. And even though it is spring training, it is always a nice morale boost to beat the NL champions. And I'm sure this young Twins team was excited about it. So congrats to them. Then on Saturday as well, we had Miami, Washington, a battle of division rivals, of course. 4-1 Miami. It ended up being Tristan Gray hit a RBI single in the top of the second to make a 1-0 Miami. Nick Fortes then hit another RBI single to make it 3-1 Miami as well. To make it 3-0 Miami. Joey Meneses then hit an RBI double for the Nationals to make it 3-1, and Dane Meyer hit a double in the top of the 8th to ice the game and make it 4-1 Miami, for which the Nationals would not recover, and in the end, it was 4-1 Miami, and that was the final score of the game. I'm going to try to fix this lighting real quick, so I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Again, I do apologize. I did not expect it to be this way. Sorry. All right. That should help it a little bit. It doesn't help it a lot, but again, I do apologize for this. It is, never thought I'd say that it's too sunny, but it definitely is. And the lighting is not ideal in here. The light is on in this room. I don't know why it's so dark in the camera. Again, I do apologize a lot. I'm sorry about this, but yeah. Keep going with the NL games here. So we have we have here Washington. Oh, sorry, not that game. We have Pittsburgh, Philly, the Battle of Pennsylvania right here. O'Neal Cruz hit a home run for the Pirates to his second home run of the spring. For a nice job by him. Really a nice job for his spring. He's trying to. There's some extension rumors just preliminarily from fans that really want him to get extended. So hopefully he can reaffirm himself as part of the Pirates' young core, as a guy that is a big part there, and is really trying to be their franchise shortstop. Brian Reynolds also homered in the bottom of the first to make it 2-0 Pirates. Carter Binns then made it 3-0 Pirates. O'Neal Cruz homered again to make it 5-0 Pirates. Great job by him for the spring. Johan Rojas hit into a force out for an RBI. You then had Cody Clemens hitting a grand slam for the Phillies, which then made it 5-5, of course. So, good job by him trying to fight for a roster spot. Tie game here then we had, which is very exciting. You had former Pirate Adolfo Castro doubling for an RBI to score Edmundo Sosa and tying the game up. Giving the Phillies the lead, actually, not tying the game up. They just tied it up before. Sorry. Gerrit Stubbs then hit a ground rule double to make it 7-5 Philly. After that, you had Eduardo Olivares hitting a double to make it 7-6, and then O'Neal Cruz reaching on a fielder's choice, which then scored Eduardo Olivares to make it 7-7 Philly. Matt Kroon then reached on a fielding error by former first overall pick Tamar Johnson. Just some learning pains for him. I don't think it should be a big deal, but that is what ended up winning the Phillies the game. So, you want to make sure that is cleared up in the regular season for the Pirates if they do want him to be up at some point, be a big part of their team, which he obviously is going to be in the future. So, definitely something you need to get worked out here. Then we had St. Louis, Miami. You had Tim Anderson scoring after reaching on a fielding error by Jordan Walker. Which made it 1-1 after in the first inning. A wild pitch scored in Victor Scott for the Cardinals. Ivan Herrera grounded into a force out, making it 3-1 St. Louis. Nolan Arenado, 2-1, sorry. Nolan Arenado then doubled to make it 3-1 Cardinals. Matt Carpenter back in St. Louis made it 4-1 St. Louis. Josh Bell then hit a 2-run homer, making it 4-3 St. Louis, creeping back a little bit for the Marlins. Troy Johnson trying to make the roster. Hit an RBI single, scoring 2, making it 5-1 Marlins, giving them the lead. Then, of course, the Matt Andriese, the Marlins gave the lead away with a wild pitch, scoring Mason Wynn and putting Nelson Gorman at second. Thomas Sagasi, who I mentioned before, had an RBI single and made it 6-5 St. Louis. You then had Lucan Baker hitting a sacrifice fly to make it 7-5 St. Louis. Thomas Sagasi hitting another single for an RBI, 9-5 St. Louis. Then hitting another RBI double for St. Louis, making it 12-8, which is what the score ended up being for St. Louis. So you can say a lot about their pitching, but man, do the Cardinals have a nice young hitting core. I'm really excited to look forward to it. Not just the name brand guys as well, the guys we all know about, but other guys like Thomas Sagasi, who I think is a big part of this future as well, and a guy I'm really looking forward to. So definitely a big part of their team, and I'm really looking forward to him. After that, you had Arizona, Los Angeles. The Dodgers absolutely blew out the Diamondbacks 12-1. Nice start by Gavin Stone, who's having a nice spring. Brandon Pfaadt struggling a little bit for the Diamondbacks, but I think it'll be all good for him. I don't think it should be a long-term thing, and I'm looking forward to watching him in the season. You then After that, you had Milwaukee, Colorado, which was 3-1. Colorado, good game for them. Ended up getting a win, which is always nice for this young team. Want to get morale. Christian Yelich scored the only run for the Brewers, making it 1-0 with a sacrifice fly in the first. Brendan Rodgers ended an RBI single. Sterling Thompson homered, and Jordan Beck singled to make it 3-1 Rockies, which the score ended up being and finishing as. So yeah, that's it for the NL games. I apologize for the kind of technical difficulties we did have during this segment, but hopefully it should be fixed for the rest of the show and tomorrow as well. I'm going to be working on that over the tiny break we have right here. So we'll be talking about our fourth and final segment, which is just going to be about news around the league and just some stories I want to talk about and some things I missed. So we'll be talking about that, and we'll go on a break. So thanks, and talk to you after. Goodbye. All right, we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth and final segment. If you did hear some stuff over that little break here, that was just me moving around some stuff, trying to get the lighting a little bit better. It has been a problem right now. I know it's been very distracting if you are watching on live. So again, I do apologize. Just want to get this fourth segment here, and just want to talk about everything that's been going on around the league, some more minor stories, and just some stuff I want to talk about. Again, the light, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm so sorry. So first, with the Giants, we have some news. They released last year's starting third baseman J.D. Davis. He was put on waivers shortly after the Matt Chapman signing became official for the Giants. It really left him no place in San Francisco on the team. Chapman is kind of the opposite of what Davis is. Davis is more of a hit-first guy, while Chapman is more of a defense-first guy. So, it wasn't. He didn't really fit anymore with Chapman taking over his spot. His salary was also a lot after winning his arbitration case against the Giants. So the writing was on the wall for him to go, and they put him on waivers. No one budged, mostly probably because of that contract, I would believe. He still is a fine player, but that contract was a lot. And he ended up getting released, so he's free to sign with anyone. A lot of teams make sense for him. The Blue Jays were mentioned as a team that does make sense. They are lacking a third base right now, so I do think that makes some sense. Also, I think other teams that could need some maybe DH help, kind of in a hybrid role. Maybe teams like the Guardians I could look at. A team like the Marlins as well. I think a team could buy low on him, like the Nationals, the A's, maybe flip him at the deadline. So a lot of teams could look for J.D. Davis to be a part of their team next year. I would say he gets help. He does find a job quickly. He's not a bad player. It was just of circumstances that he did end up getting released. So, unfortunate for him, and hoping he lands back on his feet and lands in a good spot for himself. Edward Cabrera was taken out of a Marlins game early because of some injury problem, and is getting an MRI. Obviously not great news for the Marlins, who have already had a lot of injury news with their pitchers. You've had Sandy Alcantara going under the knife. You've had some other guys as well who have been out. Mainly it's been Sandy Alcantara, though, and you really can't afford to lose more pitching depth. Again, you have a lot of it, but at some point, when are you going to run out? So Edward Cabrera being out would not be good. I think they were banking on him to be a big part of their season this year. So definitely not good, and not something they're looking forward to. But hopefully he comes back fine, and he'll be a big part of their rotation this year. I definitely believe he can be and will. So definitely hoping this MRI comes back clean and everything is sorted out. Gregory Santos of the Mariners bullpen will not be ready for opening day. We've known this probably for a little while now, but it's become official. Since being acquired from the White Sox in a trade, he has not had a very great start to his tenure in Seattle. He's had a lot of injury problems staying on the field with Seattle in this short amount of time. So definitely not a surprise that he won't be ready for opening day. But it does still suck if you are a Mariners fan. This guy has electric stuff. I think was going to be a big part of your bullpen. And the fact that he is not healthy so far is a big blow to you guys, I'd say. You did sign Ryan Stanek for this very reason a few days ago to kind of fill in his more bullpen depth with him being out, and Matt Brash, another bullpen arm for you guys, having some injury risk as well. But still sucks. Was looking forward to him as a big part of that bullpen for the Mariners that was going to hopefully lead that team to the playoffs. So definitely not great, but hopefully he comes back stronger and better. Padres, they are still interested in more outfielders. Adam Duvall, Michael A. Taylor, and Tommy Pham, who are the main guys still in the market out there for outfielders. Not really a big surprise. I've talked about it multiple times now here on the pod, but they need outfielders. They need a lot of them. You have Tatis, you have Jurickson Profar. I think Jackson Merrill will start the season in center field, but he's still a rookie and it's not his natural position, so you need some insurance for that. And also, I don't know if you want Jurickson Profar starting in the year 2024. He's not that good anymore. I'm sorry. Definitely could improve the team if you were to get a guy like Duvall, like Michael A. Taylor, like Tommy Pham. So, definitely guys I'd look for if you're a Padres fan that you could sign. And definitely hopeful for them because they could definitely help this team with what they've had going on with them. So, I think Duvall, Michael A. Taylor, Pham, they're all fits. And I definitely think one of them is going to sign with the Padres eventually. Just a matter of contract and whether Preller wants to give out the money. A surprising one here, the Rays, they sent top prospect Junior Camarino down to minor league camp, which is an indicator that he will not be starting the MLB roster, not be starting the year on the MLB roster. This is a big surprise to me. I love Junior Camarino. I think he's an amazing player. One of the top prospects in the league for a reason. An amazing hit tool. A guy I think is going to be a big part of that Rays future. And he played down the stretch with the Rays. Played in a few games there, and I did think he was going to be a starter for this year. And not making the MLB roster is kind of a surprise to me, especially this early. I kind of thought he would be a roster cut closer to the opening day deadline, but apparently not. And the Rays have seen enough, so kind of surprising to me. But still have a bright future for him. Still very high in him, and I think he will be up pretty soon this year. Ahmed Rosario has been performing well in camp, and he is a middle infielder, of course. So I guess that could have something to do with Tampa and why they sent Camarino down. But we'll definitely check into that and see what's going on with that. A similar story here as well. The Braves optioned one of their top pitchers. Prospect AJ Smith-Schuster, I should say, not Schuster. He was a big part of their rotation last year, big part of their pitching as well. A guy who came up, pitched some quality innings for them, has a bright future. I did expect him to make the roster. I did expect him to be a big part of that team. Maybe not in the rotation, but maybe out of the bullpen as well. Just somewhere playing a role for them. And the fact that he did not make the MLB roster is kind of surprising to me. I think with the Braves, their lack of pitching right now, their lack of reliable pitching, it is surprising. And definitely not a shocker, but definitely something that is worth noting to me. So I guess they feel confident in their pitchers, specifically their starters, because I think that is where AJSS would have fit in really well with them. And I'm looking forward to him, though, being a big part of that Braves rotation upcoming and being a big part of their depth. So, definitely watching this season and watching what he can do. Lucas Giolito is officially out for the year. Pete Abraham, one of the more reliable Red Sox guys, did tweet it that he did officially have surgery, and or he is going to have surgery relatively soon and will be out for the year. We're not sure yet still if it's Tommy John or something else, but he is out for the year. An awful blow to the Red Sox, just really, really horrible. We had a whole segment on that, so if you want to check that out, please go ahead. But, signing a guy like Giolito, who you want to be your top of the rotation guy, a guy you see a lot of untapped potential in, you think can go back to his old ways in Chicago of being really, really good, being one of a premier pitcher in baseball, and he gets injured right away. It really does suck. It really is just a really bad break for the Red Sox, and definitely not great if you're a Red Sox fan. So not fun. Just a horrible blow for them. And I can't say enough things about how bad it is for the Red Sox and how unfortunate it really is, because I was looking for big things with him. He said he signed with the Red Sox specifically because they knew what they were doing with him. They had a plan for him as well. So definitely a big negative for them. And it really is unfortunate that this season had to start and end like this. Jackson Kowar, who was acquired from the Braves to the Mariners in the Jarred Kelenic trade, is going under the knife and will have Tommy John to be out for the year, of course. He, along with the other pitcher acquired in that trade, both of them had Tommy John, and so basically the Braves got Jarred Kelenic for free, which is great. That's just so exciting as a Mets fan. You definitely want to see that have them get a player with a lot of potential for basically nothing. It is kind of perplexing how both these guys passed their physical. If they both did get Tommy John a few short months after, but good for the Braves for getting Kelenic at a reduced price. Unfortunate for the Mariners that they gave up on a top prospect just from a few years ago for this for not a great package. So hopefully he can get better, and hopefully Jackson Kowar plays a big part of the Mariners pitching depth going forward in the future when he does get healthy. Johnny DeLuca, one of the big parts of the Tyler Glasnow trade to the Dodgers, has a right-hand fracture and will miss opening day for the Rays. Not a great break for them. They were expecting him to be in a fourth outfield spot and starting role some days. Not great. Will be out for a little bit, of course. We'll see how the right-hand fracture does affect him when swinging the bat and throwing in the future as well. So again, not a great break for the Rays, but something I don't think is a huge deal for the future, but it is worth noting because of the trade he was acquired in. So I'm definitely still high on DeLuca's future, and definitely hopeful that this is a guy that can contribute for the Rays for a long time and be a big player for them. More Mariners news, as we talked about them before. They signed Michael Givens to a minor league contract. Good depth by them. Again, you talk about their pitchers, Gregory Santos, Jackson Kowar, guys who are going to be a part of their bullpen depth this year. Their pitching depth overall, both going under the knife and getting injured. So signing Givens, a veteran reliever who has a lot of experience in the league, experience pitching in big games, and being a nice reliever for teams like the Mets and the Orioles and the Rockies as well. So good job for them for signing a veteran guy like that to give them some more depth when inevitably more injuries do come. So definitely good signing by the Mariners here to get more depth overall, and good job for them for fixing their depth woes. And finally, Taj Bradley, who's going to play a big part of the Rays pitching staff this year with the injuries and the Tyler Glasnow trade. He's going for an MRI for his pectoral. He has tightness there, so not good news if you're a Rays fan. Taj Bradley, a former top prospect who has not really put it together all really throughout his major league tenure. But, I think the Rays are definitely hopeful that he can soon. And definitely a guy I do think is going to be a big part of the Rays' future for their rotation, and a guy I'm still looking forward to watching how he progresses. So I don't think it's a huge deal pectoral, but still obviously not ideal if you are a Rays fan. So those are my news around the league. Some shorter stories that I still want to talk about and I thought were notable. So that is our show for you today. It was one of my more sloppy ones. I do apologize for that. I said apologize a lot, but it is unprofessional, and sorry about the lighting here. It got better at the end, so it'll definitely be better tomorrow. I promise you that. So again, thank you so much for watching. We'll have more stories for you tomorrow. I will have an update on the Gerrit Cole situation and what's going to happen there. So let's see what baseball throws at us tomorrow, and we'll see you then. So thanks, and bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.